Good day again. It's Grant Morgan, Wilcox Bodies Limited, going over basically the electrical system on this CPKC track maintainer. I'll turn the camera on so you can get an idea. So under the hood on this particular unit, we have a series of breakers. That control power to various components on the truck. If you lose power to a certain function on the truck, then ideally you can flip the breaker. If the breaker trips right away, then clearly you've got a short somewhere and you shouldn't keep on tripping it. But we've got breakers for high rail, breakers for the lift gate, and then breakers for I believe the inverter and electrical system. So that's the location of these components under the hood. Inside of the curbside first cabinet, we have essentially the inverter system. This is a Xantrex 3000 watt square wave inverter with cord reel, auxiliary battery, a duplex inside of the cabinet, and a battery separator that if the battery on the truck drops below a certain voltage, it will disconnect and separate the inverter system from the chassis battery, so that way you don't drain the chassis battery down. If, for instance, the inverter battery were to drain down because you've been using it without the truck running, once it drops below a certain voltage on the inverter battery, then it'll shut off the inverter as well. So there is a manual for the inverter in the manuals in the center console box. If you have any questions, comments, you can refer to the manual, but always you can reach out to myself, Grant Morgan. My business card is in the manual, and you can ask me anything, anytime, day or night. So that is the inverter system. The electrical panel is also located inside of the curbside first cabinet on the curbside of the chassis. Alright, so curbside first cabinet. We have a removable panel that if you push up on it and pull the panel away, it basically tells you have an electrical panel. On the back of the panel, it's going to give you which particular fuses and relays do what, and then obviously we have your electrical panel here. In the manual of this particular unit, in the center console, in the cab, I highly recommend the manual stays with the truck at all times. Don't take it out, put it into the office somewhere. It should stay with the truck. That way, anywhere you take this truck for service or you have a breakdown, you can always pull out the manual and give it to your Ford dealer or local garage, and then they can open it up and they will have the electrical and hydraulic schematics for this particular unit if they are, if they ever need to refer to those. If not, you can call me, but again, that's just another delay. So I would highly recommend you keep the manual with the truck at all times. The electrical system, or for the crane, it's basically a 12 volt, but it runs off of PTO and pump. So the hydraulics are powering the crane, electrics is just powering cartridge valves to allow fluid to flow to the hydraulic functions. The manual for the crane, again, is in the cab. If for some reason your remote control should fail, you have manual overrides that function, as you can see here, on the back of the crane. In order to bypass the proportional valve, you're going to need to open this cover. You're going to need to remove this slightly tamper-proof component on here. This red cartridge valve is probably turned all the way in. You're probably going to have to push on it, turn it a quarter turn counterclockwise. It will then pop out, and then that will allow full hydraulic flow to this valve block. At that point, without using the remote control, you should be able to function according to the diagram that you see here, you should be able to function, rotation, boom up and down, extension, and hoist up and down. All right. Once the crane has been repaired, this proportional valve needs to be returned back to its original position. Otherwise, using the remote control, as soon as you toggle function on the crane remote, you're going to get full speed to that particular valve. So you need to put this back into its original position, and then you're able to use the proportional control on the remote control, which is the trigger button on the pistol grip remote control. One other thing to note on this pistol grip remote control is that this uses standard AA. It uses a quantity of 4 standard AA batteries. You have to remove these 4 screws when the crane remote or the batteries die. Replace them with 4 new AA batteries. If for some reason you don't have 4 new batteries, inside the manual there's actually 4 batteries. You also have a tethered cable, and this tethered cable would one end of it screws into the tethered cable that's hanging down from the base of the crane inside of the curbside rear crane tower cabinet, and the other end screws into the base of the remote control. That allows power from the crane to power the remote control, and then you can function your crane accordingly. I think this is probably only like a 20-foot cable, if that. What I recommend customers do is buy a rechargeable battery module with Energizer rechargeable batteries. You buy 2 sets. You charge the first one, put it into your remote, put the second set onto the charger. You can plug it into the duplex at the back of the console if it runs off 110 volts, unless you buy a 12-volt one. So this way you always have a set of batteries being charged and ready to go at all times, so that if the remote control batteries die, you can merely remove the cover, swap them out, and then put the dead batteries onto the charger, and then you're good to go until the next time. And that's kind of the little quirks in the electrical system on this particular unit. Thank you very much.